Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Constantine. Is that Stan from Steam? Hey, Lilandra, welcome back. How are you? Hey, Rev. How you been, buddy? Did y'all survive the last week or so without me? Hey, Jim. How are you? I did. I just relaxed. I did nothing. It was a staycation. It was a laycation. I just did a lot of nothing. I relaxed a lot. I slept in a lot. Stayed up late a lot. Did some reading. You know, watched some movies. Really just had nothing on the agenda except for a couple days when I did some gardening with Mrs. Mac and cleaning up around the yard. Stuff I just have to do, you know, dad duties. You know, I kind of wish I'd taken more time off. But yeah, we've pulled a few strawberries so far. We've eaten them a few times. The harvest isn't going to be that big this time around, so we've just been kind of eating them as we pluck them. So let's talk about the stream today. And our itinerary. Some things we need to discuss. And I just want to say I'm very happy to be back and welcome back to you all. I hope you survived without the stream for, you know, a week or so. And I would love to catch up with you all today about what you've been up to. So by all means, if you, you know, let us know if you did anything fun, interesting, new, if you had any tabletop sessions or prep, or if you just, you know, had a regular old day-to-day. Let's hear about it. Still, love to chat and catch up. Let's discuss our itinerary for the day. How you doing, Constantine? Is this Stan from Steam? Refreshing all the streams. Refreshing them because they were crashing. Okay, we're back. Davey, good question. We're going to discuss that right now, actually. Well, in just a moment, okay? Just had TikTok freeze and I refreshed it, so chat should work from here on out. So, really quickly, let's discuss our itinerary for today's stream. We've got our news segment, which will be first up in just a moment. Afterwards, we will be having the Dam Challenge segment, which was delayed by 2 weeks or roughly 2 weeks because of my time off. Afterwards, we'll do Dungeon Alchemist Q&A. So if you have questions, feedback, suggestions, need support or guidance, that segment is dedicated to providing you assistance. Following that segment, we will do a workshop segment where we'll showcase assets from the workshop. And finally, if there's time, we'll do our Dam feature segment where we'll showcase abstract lighting. So that's the itinerary for today's stream. Welcome one and all, and I just want to remind you all, we are live on multiple platforms. We're live on 5 different platforms. So Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Steam simultaneously. So if I'm talking to people you don't see in your chats or I'm not responding to you right away, it's not that I'm ignoring you. I'm just kind of reading a lot of different feeds and getting to them when I can. Carpenter Official on TikTok says, I'm newer DM and I love using Dungeon Alchemist for my sessions and battle maps. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Carpenter. Welcome to the Dam fam. Welcome to the stream. Just realized my camera was off. Let's solve that really quick. Hey, Tropism. Welcome back. Okay, so I've got some bummer balls news, unfortunately. Our next update, Fun with Objects 2, is getting a slight delay. We had hoped to release it before the end of the summer, but our lead dev, who is essentially the let's just say it, the backbone of Dungeon Alchemist, Carl, he's basically told the team that he was getting very close to burning out and that he needed some time off to, gather himself, regenerate his energy, so to speak. He has been working tirelessly for the last 4 or 5 years on Dungeon Alchemist, and basically he kind of hit a wall recently with a combination of, like I said, burnout and some physical ailments. I don't want to get too much into it because that's his personal life, but I very much respect his choice to take a break. Omniroll, thank you for that follow. Much appreciated, much appreciated. So he has requested, he's taken some time off to recharge his batteries, so to speak. Without him around as our lead dev actively working, things kind of grind to a halt. That's how very important he is to our team. But that's also, hey, W Ball, welcome, welcome. That's also just goes to show how we need him to take this time, because we don't want this project to fail, right? So I think it's very important that he recognize that he needs this time off, and it's also very important that we support him. This will likely add between a month to 2 month delay on the next update, Fun with Objects 2. So Davey, in answer to your question, sorry for the long-winded answer and making you wait, but it's very crucial that I explained it how it is. I think he caught it just in time, but he needs to take some time. You know what I mean? And he's gonna essentially be out of office. He's gonna log out and go incommunicado for the next month. And when he comes back, we'll see. We're gonna kind of touch base and see where he's at and go from there. And he may need more time off, depending. So I think, I understand it's a bummer. It is a bummer. But it's also very wise of him to take this stance and this choice. We're a small team. We don't have, people that can pick up the pieces when certain people are gone, right? So it's very important that we recognize when we need time away and we take it. So I think the best thing we can do is support his decision and be supportive to him in this time, give him his privacy, give him some space. If you got some kind words that you would like to share with him, send them my way and I'll put them together and give him like a get well card or just some love from the community, something like that. But let's give him some space for the next month or so. I think it's just some time, Rev. You know what I mean? That's really all we got to sacrifice is a bit of time, just some patience. Man, it's so awesome that we've got chatters in every stream right now. So we've got W Ball over on Steam. We've got Carpenter and Davey and Artful Darkness over on TikTok. We've got a whole laundry list of people on Twitch. We've got some on YouTube. Just awesome. Thank you everyone for being here from all corners of the globe, all platforms, just showing your support and love for Dungeon Alchemist. Today's stream is going to be an absolute blast. I've missed you all for the last couple weeks. I do feel like the streams are part of my social battery recharge. I need to stream in order to hang out with y'all and socialize and catch up with y'all and recharge my battery, so to speak, that way. But my physical and mental batteries and overall, I was just tired. Taking time off was great. I slept a lot. I needed it. Yippee, love from France. Nice. I feel the need for streams. Yes. So, thank you everyone for being patient while I took some time off. I'm kind of regretting not taking more time because had I known there would have been a delay, I probably would have taken another like 4 to 7 days, but it's okay. I honestly am happy to be back, really eager to be back, and I missed y'all a lot. And guess what? Tomorrow is D&D day for my group. So Monday we'll have story time. And next Sunday, we also have D&D day. So we have 2 sessions in 2 weeks. It's very rare, but because it's Mini Mac and mine's birthday this month, we share a birthday month. We just said, hey, we really want an extra D&D session this month. We asked the group about it months ago, and I offered to pay for it. So basically, everyone months ago agreed to it. We lined it up with everyone's schedule. It's kind of rare that we can do that. So I get 2 D&D nights this month. How many people have D&D this tomorrow? That's great. Or today or tomorrow. So Carpenter says, oh, Carpenter, hey, thank you for the follow, by the way. Much appreciated. Tomorrow is D&D day for my group as well. Nice, nice. What are you putting them through tomorrow? And then Omni Roll. Also, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Same here. Excited for Sunday. D&D is going to be so fun. You have D&D tonight? Nice, Blue Mage. I'm jealous. Sorry, I've got like a bit of an itchy throat. I'll survive though. So we covered our news, which it's bad news. It's a bummer news, but also, you know what? I think it's the correct call. And I trust in Carl's decision making and knowing when he's kind of hit his limit. If he needs a break, I trust him. And honestly, no big deal. A month or 2 is nothing. When he gets back recovered, feeling refreshed, he'll probably buckle down and push out a ton of content really quickly. So I'm super supportive of his choice, and I would expect our community to, rally behind that choice as well, be supportive. So let's move on to our next segment. Dude, Blue Mage, it's okay, buddy. Are you? That's a good question. Are you all right? It happens, man. Like, life happens. Honestly, I think life came at a lot of different people these last few weeks. There's a lot going on. First off, in the US, there was like the 4th of July. So a lot of people were like traveling or, had family and friends about, doing different things, camping, going to the lake, whatever, right? So a lot of people weren't around for the streams just prior to my break, right? And then I think people are also, their kids are out of school, there's summer vacation. If you're not in the US, 4th of July, no big deal, whatever. You still have to deal with all these other things, right? There's a heat wave in most of Europe right now that is making it almost impossible for people to be indoors and deal with like electronics being on. It's like, yeah, I think that it's just been harder for people to be on their computers. Anyway, I'm just like, I get that, this time of year, it's not a priority to make maps for the damn challenge. Does that make sense? Like, y'all have your lives, you have your kids out of school, you got your summer plans, you may be busy with other things, and it's just not a priority to focus on the damn challenge. Jeez, Blue Mage, I'm sorry to hear that. Dude, I once got assaulted by a customer at Best Buy. It was nuts. So it came out of nowhere too, so I get it. It stinks. It's the worst, and it makes you super paranoid and like, ugh. And then work kind of treats you like the bad person too, like you did something. Anyway, dude, I am so sorry. And if you want to talk about it or, vent here in chat, feel free. I'm here for you, man. Okay, so Carpenter says, last session was stressful session. They navigated a mimic colony force. Oh my goodness. I thought mimics were solo creatures. Next session is traveling back to the main capital. Well, hey, at least they, get to see some normal stuff. Maybe. Absolutely agree, right, Davey? I think he made the right choice, 100%. By all means, Hobgoblin, yeah, let's vent about our work if you want to. My group is having dinner with Strahd tomorrow. The DM wanted us all to be there. Oh, no. Oh, no, Omniroll. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Atlam, what I'm thinking is let's not bombard him with private messages or pings. I think it's best if any well wishes or comments you want to send to Carl, send them my way, please. And then I will put them together in a document. Yeah, please send them to me. And then I'll put them together in a document and then send them to him. Nice, Yellow Flash. That sounds comfy. You're doing it right. Please tell me you're doing barbecue or got some drinks or something too. Dang. Mapping and being by the pool, that's great. I mean, if you make an image or like some art that you want to send, that's totally fine. Like a get well image or something card, online card, just send it my way, like I said, and I'll put it all together in something to give him. Like a file or a folder. Blue Mage, right? There's so many Spelljammer vessels. Okay, let's get on to the Dam Challenge. We're getting a little sidetracked, and I know there's a lot to talk about because it's the first stream back in a hot minute. The Dam Challenge, for those just tuning in, is our bi-weekly map-making contest. We host it here on our streams and in our Discord. Every 2 weeks, we pick a theme. Then our community is challenged to use that theme as inspiration and make a map of any shape or size with that theme. You then have to submit the map to the Dam Challenge channel in our Discord before the deadline for that particular challenge. This particular theme is trap. So using trap as inspiration, our community was challenged to make a map. We had 5 entries for this particular Dam Challenge, and I'm excited to highlight them all today. And before we end the stream today, I'll be putting up a new challenge for our community, a new theme. Yeah, I honestly was really impressed with the design of this more than anything. I love that it essentially was like this lovely castle that is now what feels like a squatter's colony, like a homeless colony. So first off, congratulations to Chimaru. This is the winning map for the Dam Challenge. I've had it up for a few minutes, so if it wasn't obvious. So congratulations, Chim. Let's give some warm congrats and applause to Chim. Remember, we can't all win, but we can all be winners. So let's how about a flying pyramid? Because of Stargate, always flying pyramids. It's always about the Hatak class attack vessels. Yellow Flash, definitely had a few drinks. Hope everyone is having a good Saturday. You know what? I am having a good Saturday. My first Saturday back on the stream, so. Oh my gosh. So, Blue Mage, let me tell you the story, brother. I worked at Best Buy, right? And I worked there from the time I turned like So I started working there when I was 17 and I left like in my mid 20s, right? Or like just after my like mid 20s. I worked there a long time. Got me through, you know, the end of high school and my college years and stuff like that. And then the beginning of my, you know, starting my family before I moved on from there. So anyway, I worked there a long time and I didn't really have many issues with employees or customers. Most people generally got along with me. There's a couple of people, you know, you're never going to please everyone. So sometimes people would get irritated, whatever, or rub the wrong way, or may have had a bad experience with you and gave you a bad review. That's pretty normal. But in all that time, I was only assaulted once. Someone got like up in my face and attacked me. And it was the strangest thing, right? Because I was helping another customer, not even talking to this person. They came in and I could see that they were watching me from like another aisle and they were like eyeing me. And I'm just helping the customer. I'm assuming they were waiting for help. And so I gave them a symbol. I was like, I'll be with you in a minute, right? And I'm trying to help this person do this thing. I'm selling a computer. I can't exactly remember what I was selling, but I worked in the computer department primarily. And this guy gets impatient and he starts kind of pacing. So I'm seeing him out of the corner of my eye and I'm getting a little nervous. And I ping our loss prevention security guy. I'm like, hey, you seeing this guy over here pacing by the phone aisle? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, can you keep an eye on him? Right? So I kind of alerted people that something was up. He was just being weird. And then I'm still talking to this customer. Anyway, the customer wants to buy the computer. I go grab a cart, come back, I start loading it up. And then when my back is turned and I'm loading up this stuff, this guy comes over and like grabs at me and shoves me into the shelf. And he's like, you think you're so freaking smart? You think you're so freaking cool? And I was like, what is going on? It was completely like flabbergasting. I was completely taken out of my element because I have no idea what set this guy off at this point. Oh, Black Fridays were the worst. I worked 3 of them. And I would never wish that on my worst enemy. Yeah, Flash, that is not fun. Gosh, Jim, this is just breathtaking. You did a really good job on this. Absolutely astounding work. Cyber Monday is a scam, bruh. It's a tiger trap, huh? A Rakasha's lair? Now we're talking. The vibe I was getting was this was just like an old kingdom or like an old castle, center hub in a kingdom, and now it's kind of run down and people just kind of live all throughout it wherever they want. So, long story short, this dude, I know y'all are on the edge of your seat wondering why he did this. So as soon as this happened, basically our loss prevention was watching him and he'd already gotten a couple guys together and they were keeping an eye on him. And almost as soon as this happened, they had grabbed him and pulled him off of me, right? And then they dragged him away and they asked me if I wanted to call the police. And I was just super confused. Everything was going on. And I finally got a good look at the guy and I thought I had recognized him. Anyway, come to find out, in high school, years, like 3 years before, I had dated his cousin. Okay. And he, while I was dating his cousin, was away on a religious mission. He's a little bit older. And during that time, while he was away, his cousin and I dated, and we broke up. Okay, that's normal, like high schooler stuff, right? So I guess he got home and got it in his head that like he needed to attack me. I don't know. Like, I don't really understand it. Okay. Like, there really wasn't a whole lot of drama when myself and his cousin broke up. It was like a normal high school breakup. So the only thing I can think of is like somewhere along the lines, the story became somewhat different and he got it in his head that he had to be, defensive of his cousin. But this was years later. It's like I hadn't even talked to the person. Like years later, I don't even know, the thing is I barely even knew who he was because I'd never met him. Like, I guess he explained to the people that I worked with and I'm like, I'm not sure who he is. I've never met him. And like the person he's saying I haven't spoken to in like 5 years. So I don't know what's going on. It was funny. Okay, Chim, tell us about this. It's just a small town drama, we never really got the whole story out of him because he was kind of just crazy. Like, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. And it's not like I was going to go out of my way to call my ex and talk to them about this or what was going on. So basically what I had gathered was he just didn't like me from, secondhand accounts and whatever. Anyway, the funny part about this is it was his cousin that dumped me. She dumped me. So I'm like, I wasn't like, I broke her heart or anything like that, or, cheated on her or did anything that would have like warranted this reaction. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Just one of those things. But the thing is, I grew up in a really small town full of hot-headed dudes that like basically don't know how to control their emotions because they were never really allowed to have emotions. Yeah, the design is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I took a lot of shots on this map. I found it intoxicating. It's a very beautiful map, Jim. You did a great job. How long did you put into this build? Oh no. Oh yeah, there's one floating. Floating lamp. I saw it a little bit earlier. I just love this little like slum part. I mean, it's all kind of feels like a slum. It's just like, seems like people are just living wherever. It got turned around. Yeah, that's right. It is on backwards, huh? Turn around every now and then. It's good. So, I don't know the whole story really, and I wish I knew more, but I didn't really want to make it more dramatic. The guy got banned from the store. I never saw him again. So, like, worked out in my favor. I don't know. I'd never seen him before that day and never saw him again. Oh, nice. Yellow Flash. Would love to see it. Hey, is the Yellow Flash in your name for like DC Flash, like Eobard Thawne? Or like, because like wasn't he the Yellow Flash, right? But yeah, in our Discord, we have a place where you can share images of your maps. And by the way, if y'all loved upstairs, you'll love downstairs a lot. It's very beautiful in here. Lots of neat symmetry. Multiple layers. Yeah, that's the thing. I've been out of high school for years, and this dude gets back from his religious mission, and in his infinite wisdom found it like worth his time to come hunt me down at my job and assault me. Feels a little bit like a fun house at times. This is one of my favorite spots downstairs. Minato? It's been a while since I watched Naruto, but I really did enjoy that show. I watched a good amount of it. Like, probably the most epic clip of all time is when Rock Lee drops his weights during the Chunin exams. Very cool. I like the floor design you did. Cool work here. So how long did you say it took you to make this map? Honestly, W Ball, my brain is just a mashup of pop culture and I fear for my children and grandchildren when I most likely will get dementia someday and they have to decipher what I'm talking about at any given point because my brain is on its own tangent most of the time. I know, but I still like to ask to see, wow, even the ceiling got the treatment because you made the different spaces. That's so cool. I love the throne room. It looks dope. I think you did great work on this. Okay, let's get down here in the underground from the top view so we can see. Let's break this apart a layer at a time. Look at the tiger's face. Or an owl, I guess. You might, kind of looks like an owl. There's the tiger. I was upside down. This way is an owl. This way is a tiger. Can't unsee it now. Don't you see the tiger face though, everyone? The ears, eyes. We were getting to the beauty of this map, the real treasure of this map. I wanted to share this in the social media post, but I wanted to reveal it on stream. Yeah, didn't Bonnie Tyler just pass, right? Sadly, unfortunately. She's a little runaway. Looks like my kitchen before I change the tiles. This is insane. It must have taken you some serious time to get this shape, even anywhere where it is. Is that 3D printed? Yellow Flash? You use the trace overlay? Is it still in here? Sadly, it is not. Oh, I bet this was very hard. Constantine, what you on about? What did you use to design it, Flash? Gotcha, Constantine. So, little known fact, I thought you were calling me out because, you know, that's actually my name, Blake. A lot of people don't know this. Most people just call me Mac because that's been my nickname for 20 years. So, the mo you know. This is beautiful. You did a great job, Chim. Congratulations are in order. Applause, pats on the back, cheers. Like, it looks so good. The fire really sells it. Like the lava, the dashes of lava. Now it's just a horror show. So, hear me out. We turn it around. It's now the owl lair. You got the eyes and the owl ears and the nose. And I'm telling you, when I first opened it the first time when I was looking over it, I saw this and I was like, wait, what? And then I rotated it and saw it. Oh, very cool, Yellow Flash. So I've got 4 3D printers. I'm not good at sculpting by any means. I mostly just use like Tinkercad, but I want to get more into like Blender or Fusion. My wife uses Nomad quite a bit, though she's pretty good at it. She loves playing around with it on her iPad. And then also she uses Procreate to do like meshes or like texture wrapping and stuff. But I digress. 3D printing, heckin' fun. Just recently got a Bamboo Labs X2D. And then I have a TiVo Tornado, a FlashForge Creator Pro 2, and then a what's it called? Anycubic Photon. So I've got 3 FDM printers and a resin printer. Very much enjoy printing. Does everyone still see the owl, or is it just me? Whoo! I see it. Look at that beak. Look at those eyes. Mr. Owl. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? All right. Congratulations are in order for this badass map. I honestly, very well done. Thank you so much for putting in the time and effort to this lovely build. Chim, take your hand. Follow my instructions. Take your hand like this, right? Then put it over your shoulder. Pat yourself on the back. That's from me. Congratulations. Good work. I'll reach out to you between now and Monday afternoon with your prize, which is a $10 Hero Forge gift card. And of course, your map will be featured in our newsletter, the Cartomancer Chronicles, this Monday. So everyone, you'll be able to check it out there. But if you want to see it in advance, let me grab the link. I have it saved here. Where is it? Darn it. Okay. Gonna add this. I was gonna watch the video after the stream. I don't like to use the video as part of my judgment process, remember? We've discussed this before. The map is what I'm judging. Oh, you know what? Yellow Flash, I'm the same way, bro. I'm horrible at sculpting. Like, I'm really good at practical 3D prints, but when it comes to sculpting of any kind, I'm awful. Just shared the map. Y'all could check it out if you subscribe to it through, your Steam app, or if you're logged into Steam through your browser, you could subscribe to the map, and then it'll be available inside Dungeon Alchemist the next time you open it up under the open subscribed map section. So if you subscribe to it through your app or through Steam itself, it should show up there under Wayfarer's Respite. Okay, Chim. Congratulations. Let's, though we do need to move on and start showcasing some other maps. So this beautiful tiger will have to be caged for the evening, unfortunately. Or let free. Let's let it free. Okay, next one up is Lilandra. It's called A Cut Above and Below. So I very much respect Chim's process. The videos, the designs, the border poster, all of that. I love it. And her artistic approach to map making is very unique. But when I'm judging the maps for the damn challenge, I'm judging the maps. The video, I love it. It's extra. It's a bonus. It's like bonus content on a DVD, So after the stream is usually over, I'll sit down and watch it for a little bit, check it out. You usually pretty much or always have a good video associated with your content, with your maps. So not everybody does that. In fact, you're probably one of the handful that does it. So it's a niche thing you've definitely cornered, and I do appreciate it. Just when it comes to judging the maps, right? I definitely don't want it to be a factor in the judging, because not everyone does videos, nor is it a requirement for the damn challenge. That said, I don't want to discourage you from doing them if you enjoy them, and I do enjoy them. By all means, continue, and I know other people in our community watch them and enjoy them as well. So let's place a token and explore this map. I found it was great for this. Sorry if I tripped over my own words there, or had my foot in my mouth when I was trying to explain that. Love this little covered patio. Oh. So I'm excited for D&D tomorrow because I got a new magic item. I also took a new feat because we leveled up to level 9, which put me at level 8 wizard, level 1 artificer. So I was able to take a new feat, which was fantastic. I already have pretty high ASI to begin with. Oh no! It's a trap where you get turned into sausage. I love this part right here. Yes, this is a beautiful trap. Lalandra did a great job with this. I think this one actually quite well demonstrated a trap. It's got those Sweeney Todd vibes going on, too. Lalandra, are you present? It kind of gives me Sweeney Todd vibes. I don't know if that's what she was going for. He strode the trail that few men trod. Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. Very cool. Very cool. Wow, this is happening soon. I tried out for this. When did they I'm just thinking of The Office right now, the Sweeney Todd scene. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? So I'm not going crazy here. When like Andy brings his like acting troupe who's going to be doing Sweeney Todd at the local theater in, and they come in and like ambush the office and do a whole like song. And then they're like, you guys need to come to the show, blah 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 blah. And then Michael's like, oh, I tried out for this. This is so cool. When did the casting calls go up? He's like 3 months ago. Oh my goodness. Office is too good. So there is something so incredibly morbid about this. There is a huge patio. Okay. Tons of seats. Tons. Okay. And the worst part of it all is that this huge meat, area, preparation, kitchen is attached right to the trap and the slaughter area. Right there, where the haircuts are. So people get their throats slit, they get dropped down the trap, they get turned into meats and served to their friends and family. Very morbid. And definitely a trap. This gives me a little bit Sweeney Todd and a little bit, what was the name of that? Terminus, right? Is that what it was? In Walking Dead, right? There was those cannibals where they would like direct everyone to their colony. Because they're like, it's safe here. We have food. We have shelter. And then when they'd get there, they'd be slaughtered and then turned into food for the people living there. And they'd be cooking this meat and luring more people in from afar. Goodness. It was called Terminus, right? Was that what it was called? I feel like that's where all the trains ended up. It's been a long while since I've watched Walking Dead, so. But it's a little bit Sweeney Todd, a little bit Walking Dead. Gosh, very, very good job on this, Lalandra. It's where the family relaxes after a hard day's slaughter. Should read the poem? Okay, let's read it. There was a sad, lonely barber that met a sad, hungry cook, and both were so dramatic you could write a whole new book. He sighed like stormy weather, she groaned like creaky wood, and instantly they bonded over being tragically misunderstood. He sharpened his razors with melodramatic flair. She kneaded her dough like she was throttling the air. Soon they performed a partnership, London's weirdest pair. One provided ingredients and the other handled cookware. But even in the chaos, the shrieking, and the steam, they found a strange companionship, like a very odd dream. And though their methods varied from the standard recipe, they both agreed the profits were a pleasant sight to see. Inspired by Sweeney Todd. Dam Challenge Trap, created by Lalandra Blue. Fantastic build, Lalandra. Lovely work. Lovely work. Very cool, Yellow Flash. Hey, that sounds like you're taking on a lot for a new DM. I just want to warn you to be wary. As someone who was a first-time DM who got way in over my head as well. I don't know you, and I don't know your skill sets or what you're capable of, but it's sometimes can be incredibly hard to follow through with a world that becomes so detailed. And by that I mean it doesn't always way the way you want it to, without a certain amount of railroading. Does that make sense? So, do your best at, honestly, homebrew is awesome, all for it. Doing a crazy crafting, options, awesome. I would love a campaign like that. I'm the crafting guy in my group. Trust me, I'm the artificer magic guy that has all the cool crafty spells and items, and I honestly love crafting mechanics, but not every player does. And I could see how you could put a ton of effort into it, and maybe one of your players would like it, and all the others may not even care. Now, not trying to say you shouldn't do it, just saying, be careful. Don't overstretch yourself. Don't overburden your production. Yeah, the building does look like a mimic. Hungry. All right, next map. This one's from Tropism, Cobalt Warren. You did a great job on it, Lalandra. Fantastic work. You gonna use that for your Ravenloft sessions? Nice. Nice, W-Ball. Man, seeing this map makes me miss how deep and extensive we could get with caves with legacy builds, because the cave system could go so much deeper and extensive. It's very cool. Tropism, have you been a part of our community since Legacy? Or did you find an old map that was on the workshop that was Legacy and adjust it? I feel like... Gotcha. The way it's all trenched out, it looks like one of those big, huge mechanical bucket diggers came through and just chewed through this whole area and then moved on like they were strip mining it. And then afterwards, kobolds just lived in all the, you know, all the shredded areas behind it. It's a beautiful map, man. Had this been on the workshop for a while? Yeah, it's got a lot of verticality in it. Yeah, I feel like I'd seen this one before. It just had been a while. Oh, dang. Yellow Flash, that's cool. You built it in Canada? Dang. Oh. Some water. This would be a great map even today. Like, a lot of people tend to avoid legacy maps, but I think this one would still work really well. The only thing I'd probably do is bring it into, like, DA and go into the raised cave area brush, right? And bring these areas dark. You see where it's light and then dark? If it's light, that means that DA will recognize this as like a ledge and then that's a wall. So if you want people up there, that's fine. In this case, these are like little ledges where people can play and scale. So that's totally normal. Anything beyond this black area, it makes a wall and blocks it off visually for line of sight purposes. But it looks like you made that very strategically to allow players to traverse some of these sections. I mean, you may want to allow your players to traverse a small group, right? Across this little area. Or like... But yeah. This darkness means that that acts as a ledge that's to the roof, where your players can't traverse over it. Anyway, very cool. Seems like it's got lots of traps in here, huh? There's probably a good 40, 50 traps. Hey, Morgana, how are you? Welcome back. Y'all, I feel like the chosen one today. My cat has been in here sleeping on the chair next to me this whole time. He was in here before started stream and he's been here the whole time. Usually by now he'd be like, I gotta leave. It's too loud in here. It's too bright. Dad, you're not giving me enough attention. Basically, a combo wombo of factors would make him want to leave. He's just sitting there vibing. Puppy's probably getting a bath today. I think Mrs. Mac's going to be giving him a bath at some point. Excited for that too, because he's a stinky boy. He loves just like rolling around on the patio and in the rocks and stuff. He just gets so stinky. Ugh, it's a dog and dog doing dog things.
wouldn't be so bad, but he likes to get up in our bed and stuff, so it's like, ugh. Anyway. So for D&D, I mentioned I got a new magic item, but I didn't mention what I got. I've got a ring of invisibility now. So I'm a halfling, and I've got a ring of invisibility, if that wasn't, on the nose. Beautiful map, Tropism. Beautiful map. Thank you for sharing it with us. Glad it gets some new life today. Next, this one's from Lord Rev, and it's the Tasty Tavern. Or Tasty's Tavern. Let's start with the top view here so we can see what we got going on. Nothing suspicious about these large tentacles at all. Ah! So my character Shadow is now gone. It's gone. But we haven't had much to act on yet, or people notice it yet in the party. So we were in a dungeon, and we had this item that we'd had with us, a MacGuffin, for like a year. That was a very dangerous artifact that was cursed. And it strictly said that, you got to destroy this artifact to get beyond this gate seal that was sealed ages ago with magic. So, but if you destroy this book in the process of destroying it, whoever's attuned to it will lose their shadow, right? And I thought, you know what, that sounds pretty cool. No skin off my back. We, at the time, literally just set up camp right outside the gate because we had cleared the dungeon up to that point, and we did a short rest. I attuned to it, and then I cracked open the door, right? Destroying the book immediately after, which means all the curses were removed. The item is no longer attuned to me. Any of the cursed issues are gone, at least as far as I could tell. My shadow would have become sentient had I been attuned to the item longer, and anytime I rolled a 1, he'd take control of my body for a round and can use any of my abilities, which would be scary because I have like Fireball and Vortex Warp and like all sorts of crazy spells that would be very bad for the party. So none of us wanted to turn on the party, especially turning a critical fail into even more of a failure. So we opted to not attune to this item until the last minute. When I destroyed it, thinking I'd only lose my shadow, I actually got a feat. So I became what's called shadeless. And it's a homebrew feat the DM whipped up for his setting and his various campaigns he runs. But I now no longer have a shadow, and I get a few other extra perks. I have necrotic resistance. I have advantage on, I think it's like deception and perception checks in darker environments. I am no longer able to be affected by shadow-based like attacks or abilities. There's a few other things, but it's pretty dope. Some of the abilities, though, are basically non-existent if I'm in daylight or full light. So it has to be low light or darkness for these abilities to work. One of them in particular is I have true sight at will, and I can turn it on and off at will. And it lasts for a minute every time I turn it on. And that is only in like low light or darkness. Okay, let's take a look at this map. But for a character that's level 9, that's pretty OP. I honestly thought I'd just lose my shadow and got so much more out of it. but we played, basically we were mid-dungeon when this happened, got into a fight immediately after, and the dungeon was full of like light from lava and lamps and all this other stuff, so no one really noticed. Well, I didn't notice I had abilities in the dungeon, and no one really noticed I was missing my shadow because there's like lots of shadows, and because it's somewhat a little bit dark here and there, but also I guess it's low light, but also like we were too busy fighting. We fought a Warforged Titan, and then immediately after that, several like fire elementals, a bunch of like fire salamanders, a bunch of like various like lava rock elementals, a bunch of different things as we pushed our way into the center room of this dungeon area that we'd just unlocked, and then pushed in further and then fought the final boss, which was a dragon. So basically, a session has happened since this ability was given to me, and we haven't really explored it much as a group. Uh-oh, tentacle. Yeah, I also have like a few illusion spells. Hungry. So many tentacles. You love the tentacle, don't you? Love the tentacle, Leela. Whoa. You know, when I saw you were making these fleshy walls, I was curious what the end game was at first. Loved what you come up with. This is more like the dying room. But so I'm assuming it's just a big mimic, right? But how does it lure people in? I guess just looking really appealing and yummy. So these are all baby mimics? Gotcha. Here, I'm going to look up that exact feat right now so I can read it to you, because I'm doing it from memory, which, to be honest with you, while I'm looking at maps and working, probably a bad explanation. Oh, okay. So, no shadow. You cast no shadow, and effects that target or manipulate shadows cannot affect you. You're immune to any spell or ability that uses your shadow as a conduit, such as Shadow Step or similar effects. Perfect vision in darkness. You can choose to gain true sight out to 30 feet on areas of dim light or darkness, including magical darkness, for 1 minute. This allows you to see through illusions, invisibility, and even perceive the true form of creatures. Let's see here. Mind's Whisper. You can cast Detect Thoughts, but only for creatures within 30 feet that are in dim light or darkness. You can use this ability a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. You gain insight beyond the veil. You gain advantage on insight and perception checks in an area of darkness or shadow corruption. Corruption resistance. You gain resistance to necrotic damage and advantage on saving throws against the effects caused madness, fear, or shadow-based corruption. Shadowless presence. You cannot be targeted by effects that require a shadow or reflection. You are immune to being grappled or restrained by shadow-based abilities. Drawbacks. Alien aura. Your lack of shadow unnerves mortals. You have disadvantage on persuasion checks with non-corrupted humanoids who notice your condition. Light vulnerability. In bright light or sunlight, you lose all benefits of this feat except corruption resistance and combat adaptation. Combat adaptation isn't listed on the feat. I asked the DM and he goes, this feat can scale given certain parameters being met or storyline factors being hit. And so I was like, interesting. Okay. So there could be more to it later on. The big thing, though, is I still get the necrotic resistance and advantage on saving throws for madness, fear, or shadow-based corruption, regardless whether it's full daylight or not. So the only downside is people get unnerved by my lack of a shadow, which I can hide it pretty easy. Rev, I gotta say, when I first opened this map, it quite literally jump scared me. Not even joking you, my friend. You got me good. Hey, we need to come up with a theme for the next damn challenge. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm supposed to be picking them, but I'm almost discouraged of this because I picked Trap, and in 4 weeks, we got 5 entries. So, like, I know there's a lot going on this time of year, but man, I am discouraged about picking themes myself now. Was my theme not that great? Did no one like Trap as a theme? I'm wondering now. Very good build, Rev. Very good build. Simple, like lovely tavern with a twist. Summer is typically always slow. I know this. But I was really hoping, given the community 2 more weeks, that we'd get a few more entries. I guess I'm not like mad or anything. I was just a little disappointed we didn't get, 3 or 4 more entries in that amount of time. When I said I was going on vacation, I didn't mean the whole community was going on vacation too. Honestly, though, I'm not bothered by it. I just worry, like, maybe the damn challenge might be running its course, because we've been doing it for like 4 years now. And I know some people are burnt out on it. And map making mojo creativity. Honestly, like, my creativity has been at an all-time low. And during my time off, like, I wanted to work on my party's Bastion, but I also like wanted to detach from all things Dungeon Alchemist, and tabletop gaming. It's kind of hard to do, when you're in your time off and you want to think about your upcoming tabletop gaming session or work on your team's Bastion. Just the pool vibes. Oh, underwater. Gotcha. It's a little bit difficult to do underwater in Dungeon Alchemist's current state, though I do love the suggestion. We'll add it to the list for sure. That said, I'll likely just take suggestions and pick one, if anything, instead of doing votes. So this is what we'll do. I'll allow community suggestions, but I'll pick one, okay? From the suggestions. Fair enough, and that's the thing, like, our community and tabletop gaming are usually a secondary thing to, your careers, your families, your friends. It probably comes 4th or 5th down the totem pole for most people. So I imagine the damn challenge isn't a big priority at the end of the day. That said, I do know that, oh, I didn't notice the eyes before. Creepy. Like the Monster House vibes over here. But yeah, if any of you have suggestions for the theme, please let me know. Any platform, let me know, and we'll add them to the list. So if you have a suggestion for our upcoming damn challenge for the next 2 weeks, let us know. Usually 1 to 2 words is what we try to do for the theme. So as an example, tavern. Or we just did trap, so ambush would be weird, but you get it. Something like that. Ambush. Temple. Lost. Stuff like that. 1 to 2 words, usually the best, I found. Gaming hall is a good one. Speaking of a gaming hall, I just built one in my bastion. Well, before my time off. Okay, this one here is Chim's map. We already showed that one, so let's check out Fox's map. Before the end of the stream, remind me to pull up my bastion that I've been working on so you guys can see all the updates on it. I got to work on it a bunch today. Now that I'm back in the building, so to speak, and Dungeon Alchemist is back on the menu. Brew, okay. I like that. That's a good one, Blue Mage. That's a good one. Witch's Brew, Potion Brew. It could also be a brewery or a tavern with a brewer, like a microbrewery in it. Brew is a good one. I like that. That's a good one. Brew haha. What's brew haha? I will get you, brew haha. You just made my day. That's like the iconic villain laugh. Okay, so my favorite part of this amazingly lovely map is the garden with the prize pumpkin. I don't know about y'all, but that's the first thing that caught my eye was this massive, definitely prize-winning pumpkin. Holy cow. What do y'all think? The next thing that drew my attention was this pillared tavern with this like deck patio sort of tower defense style that's all part of it. I've been watching Fox grow as a map maker over the past couple months, and he's been really like finding his style. I love watching map makers who, you know, dedicate more and more time to Dungeon Alchemist start to find their style. And I'm really excited to see what he comes up with as he continues to grow as a cartographer. So let's take a look inside this building, shall we? Little upstairs area with a view. Quaint. Try to suggest one, Yellow Flash. We each get one suggestion. That way we don't overwhelm the mod with a huge list or me with analysis paralysis. Yeah, one suggestion per person, please, if we can. I love this log cabin bakery. And then something truly unique in this build is that the smithy, right? Got this big vertical, vaulted roof with an opening. Not many people do this to let the chimney vent. And also, this is a great way to let the heat vent because it'll rise up towards the center and out, making it much more realistic. Hey, I gotta ask y'all, I shaved my head yesterday. Got a new head trimmer, like head and beard trimmer. Am I just blinding you with the reflection off of my dome right now? It's gotta be something akin to like when there's a glint off of a sniper rifle, or like when dudes wearing glasses in anime when they like adjust them and it like blinds you. You have disadvantage against attacks against me because you're blinded. Listen, it ain't easy being this baldy. Final answer, gotcha. Lovely little magic shop. Love the shape of this building and the vaulted ceiling yet again. Not many people take advantage of the fact that you can delete the floor in the room above and make it a big vaulted room. I encourage you all to do this. I just love the vibe, for sure. And honestly, I haven't seen the gingerbread house used much lately, so it's always great to see a building made with it. Though it is unsettling seeing a massive gingerbread like building full, chock full of meats and goods. And this looks like a little study hall, classroom. Wobbly, interesting, interesting. Okay, now, everything on the surface of this town looks so happy and lovely, right? Looks like a quaint little village. You know, till you see what's underground. It would appear that the whole town is actually mimicking this weird shape of what would you call this? What do they call a city that's like for a necromancer? Gosh, what is it called? I can't remember the name of it. Or a necromancer's temple. Necropolis, that's the word. Necropolis, you got me, thank you. But if you look at this, it's almost like it's like the upside down version of the village above, right? Very beautiful, quaint, lovely village. The other side here is a horror show. You've got operating tables, a Cthulhu monster, a mausoleum, some kind of, you know, cult worshiping station. Yeah, I guess they're more like catacombs, but to me it feels like a necropolis because it's mimicking the city above. It's almost like it's the alternate dimension version of the city above. But yeah, it does definitely have a catacomb vibe to it. Anyway, the impression I got with this map was one dimension and one was the other, right? That said, I could be entirely wrong. Is Fox here right now? They could totally help us out here. Sort of just kind of like Anyway. There's a lot of tentacles today. A lot of tentacles. Absolute horror show below. Up above. Perfectly fine. So the Masons would not like this. It is not as above, so below. Okay. Fantastic work, everyone that participated in the Damn Challenge. Thank you so much. Congratulations again to Chimney, Chim Charu. Thank you again for your contribution and your fantastic work. And then thank you to all that contributed to the Damn Challenge. So, we've got a bunch of suggestions so far. W Ball says there's never enough tentacles. Is that your suggestion for the Damn Challenge, W Ball? Is tentacles? Anyway. I'm not a seafood person, and if I was, I don't think I could eat calamari. Octopus and squid are incredibly intelligent. I feel like that'd be like eating a dolphin. You know? It is... Oh, I don't know. They are super smart. That said, I'm judgy because I don't eat seafood at all. I find it... Yeah. Hey, Bane, how you doing, bud? Welcome back. Oh, floating building was your suggestion? Nice. Nice. Okay, cool. Wanted to make sure that I got your suggestion on there. Like, I eat some fish when I was younger. You know what I mean? But yeah, certain creatures that are either like super intelligent or like top of food chain creatures, I just have a hard time like trying to stomach them. I don't know what it is also too. Something about seafood just smells weird to me. It makes me nauseous. Maybe it's the way it's prepared. I don't know. Seafood isn't for everyone. You know what I mean? I like to think seafood wasn't built for me. I mean, yeah, it does, Bane, you're correct. But then it also just that fishy smell is something that does not smell good to me or tasty in any way. You know what I mean? That is nothing against people who love seafood. In fact, I don't even know why I brought this up. I just was like, so grateful that I'm not craving calamari because of all the tentacles on the stream today. Oh my goodness, y'all make me laugh so much. So my dad loved fishing, right? He always took me fishing. We go fishing on the river, at the lake, you know, a bunch of places. And I've been halibut fishing with my uncles. I have been salmon fishing. I love fishing. The sport of fishing is great, okay? Do not like eating fish. I'm a catch and release type person, okay? If I had to live on the sea or like on an island, I would probably die. Like in a survival situation. I don't know. Maybe if I was desperate, I'd probably eat fish. But like, I don't know. It's something about it. It makes me sick almost every time I eat it. It's maybe a combination of the smell or my body doesn't agree with it, like my stomach never does. Like I'd eaten catfish as a kid, I got sick. Okay. I'd eaten salmon as a kid, got sick. I'd eaten trout, got sick. Almost every time I ate fish, I'd get ridiculously sick. So I'm assuming I either have an allergy to it or just, you know, maybe the combination of the smell and taste really was just off-putting to me always. I don't know. And I'm a grown adult. I have a big, wide palette of foods that I enjoy, and I'm expanding them, you know, almost weekly. I'm constantly trying new things, new flavor profiles, new recipes, right? I'm not against trying new things. Oh my gosh, yeah. I saw some previews for that movie. It's got Rachel McAdams and what is his name? Like Adam Brody or whatever from, it's like it's like a flashback to the 2000, like popular 2000 actors. Sushi I've had a couple of times. It's okay. I think I'm like, I don't know. I kind of envy people who can eat seafood actually. Because it's like, I wish I could eat any food without an issue like that. Like, that's the thing is like almost any other meat, vegetable, fruit, you know, preparation of food, seafood just doesn't sit right with me. But yeah, that Send Help movie was pretty messed up from what I understand, right? Because she like, not only is she like a survivalist and people were making fun of her, so she was kind of like motivated to be mean to them, but she also like, I don't want to spoil it, but anyway. Wait, Cubans, like there's no seafood in Cuban culture? That's astonishing to me. But then isn't she also kind of psychotic and like hiding things from him and like keeping him a prisoner? Nice. You know, we're having tonight we're having chicken tacos and tomorrow we're having pulled pork sandwiches. Like barbecue pulled pork. Like, I don't want to talk about it and spoil it for people because it's a pretty new movie. I've pretty much seen most of the movie thanks to TikTok. I swear, nowadays, most movies are like clipped up and thrown onto like social media in like 20-second intervals. And then you end up seeing most of the movie over the course of several days, just when it comes in little segments. This map is wonderful, though. Hey, Fox, good job here. Looking at all the themes, can you send the list of the themes really quick in one of the chats, Atlam? I'm voting, not anyone else, actually, unfortunately. W ball, so that's probably what it was. Maybe I got food poisoning from it, you know? I'm terrified of ticks because like of that alpha gal syndrome or whatever, where you can get immunity or like you get allergic to red meats. Because it's like, imagine if I couldn't eat seafood and red meat, that'd be terrifying. Like I am on yeah, I try to, where I live, ticks are very few and far between in Nevada, but you still get them sometimes. We've seen them in our garden like area. A couple of years ago, my dog brought one in. It was on our couch. I think they're trying to encourage people to build, see if someone has an immunity so they can start making more vaccinations. They're trying to build a vaccination profile for it. What's your thought on the new Toy Story, Random Ladybird? I honestly, it looks like probably one of the more interesting Toy Story renditions in a while. Honestly, like, I mean, I'm all for them developing a vaccination around that because that is such a strange ailment. It's so crazy to think that you could get bit by a tick one day and then you're allergic to red meat the rest of your life. Like, what? Like, how are more people on the East Coast not allergic to red meat? I'm sure it's pretty rare, I guess, but dang, that's scary. Okay. We're going to move on to our next segment, which is Dungeon Alchemist Q&A. So for the next, let's do 20 minutes. If you have any Dungeon Alchemist related questions, support inquiries, need guidance with your map making, exports, maybe you found a map on the workshop and you're wondering how they built that, or maybe you are trying to build a certain style of building or map and you need some guidance in that arena, now's the time. So let me know your questions in chat, and I will do my best to address them. So, like, here's the thing about Toy Story. Toy Story 1 and 2 were, like, my generation's Toy Story, right? Toy Story 1 came out when I was, like, probably, like, 8 or 9 tops. Maybe 6 to 8, right? Okay. So, and then Toy Story 2 comes out, big hit for both of those. Then they seemingly wait, 10, 15 years to do Toy Story 3, which by that point, I am now pretty much an adult and have my own kids. Well, my own kid, right? My own son is now watching Pixar at this point when Toy Story 3 comes out, right? Toy Story 4 comes out, it's also quite a few years later, and so I don't think we really watched it. I think we watched it like once because my kid was older, in his teens, just not interested. And part of the reason I feel like, I don't know, it is a timeless, like, franchise and story, but I do feel like, separating the stories by 10, 15 years each sometimes kind of really took the wind out of the sails of the viewer, the audience. So the Bastion have been adding upgraded spaces. This is our theater. So it's essentially a stage and a little seating area. There's some music, little musical instruments there, and then little backstage areas with wardrobe and makeup and whatnot. Theater! Acting! Okay. Next. This is a work in progress, so this part over here is why you see this floating. This is the sacristy. But I guess what I'm getting at, like, Toy Story is like kind of kicked off a whole animation revolution. It's the animation style of my generation, really. CGI. It came about, late 80s, early 90s, and kind of got a foothold because of things like Toy Story and Bug's Life and whatnot. I love that, it's still going, and I'm just curious to see what people's thoughts are of the new movie as a whole, because yeah, I mean, Toy Story's pretty timeless. I guess, Asmodeus, you are the one to talk to about this. I should talk to you more privately about it. To be honest, I kind of just thought the story was done and shelved. I almost feel like it was brought out and dusted off because during the pandemic, a lot of companies were looking for more content and they were desperate to fill their rosters with extra content. And that's why we got some crazy movies pulled out of for instance, Warner Brothers made an Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie, a Metalocalypse movie, and a Venture Brothers movie in the same year. This was 10 years after all of those were canceled. So I think a lot of companies during the pandemic were revisiting their old franchises, seeing if they could reboot them or add another, installment to the franchise. People like Tim Allen and, Tom Hanks They don't need to come back to Toy Story. They're both independently insanely wealthy, right? Both have had very prolifically long and big careers. So I'm assuming, you know, it was a combination of, hey, trying to get them back in for this film was probably a pain, coming to terms with them, but also coming to a story that was reasonable. Yeah, that is kind of, I think Hollywood, no offense to Hollywood, but I think a lot of Hollywood is soulless and boring, and they don't want to take chances. My son and I were talking about it. He's like, why are movies like all the same nowadays, and there's never anything like new or like an interesting new concept? And it's like, basically, is the 90s was the last good, like, interesting movies. I don't know. It just frustrates me how, like, everything is regurgitated, or like there's very low risk, you know? Another thing I see in Hollywood lately is we get people involved in projects and they don't really know anything about, like, the original source material, and they try to make the project their own. So, like, you see The Witcher, for instance, which started great. Henry Cavill being tied to the project and being a huge fan, you know, he was like a big driving force behind them staying true to the source material. The second they move on from that and start writing it differently, he detaches himself from the project. The whole thing falls apart. God, oh, tell me about it, dude. If Chris Pratt is in another movie, I literally will scream, and not in a good way. Like, I'm getting irritated with, and nothing. Okay, writers are very creative people, but there are some writers who, when you're writing a TV show, you're not putting your mark on the TV show as this is incredible source material, unless it's like a groundbreaking show like Breaking Bad or something that people have never seen before. Okay, if you're writing on a Lord of the Rings or TV show, or a Halo TV show, or Witcher, something with established canon, like, you really don't need to do much. You just need to dramatize the existing canon and story and add a few extra stories here and there. People trying to put their mark on these properties that already have a huge fan base ruined them. The Halo show, the Halo live action, CG live action, it was garbage. As someone who loved the Halo books, the novelizations, and all the games, I was completely disappointed. Bro, oh, random ladybird, are we talking about Avatar, like the blue alien movie? Yeah, they took too long in between. Part of the reason was that James Cameron had so much clout after Avatar 1, he wanted to use that, and instead of jumping right into Avatar 2, which he should have done riding on the coattails of it, because he'd already signed contracts with these actors for multi-films, right? He has them on the hook, and they could have started shooting almost immediately, given the, like, success of Avatar at the time. But he wanted to work on his own project that he had been eager to film for years, which was Alita Battle Angel, which, good movie, interesting source material, but it wasn't well received, and it just basically didn't do well. Alita Battle Angel was interesting, but also some of the source material was ignored entirely. It seems like it got chopped in editing and production. Oh my gosh, dude, don't even get me started on John Carter. John Carter is my favorite movie that everybody hates. For a while, I was watching John Carter like once a month. That movie is phenomenal. And even in its current state, it's great. It's crazy because John Carter bombed at the box office, bombed as in DVD and Blu-ray sales because people didn't know what the heck John Carter was. It's gotten new life in streaming. So many people love it. And I mean, Princess of Mars novelizations, the novels have been around. They're like essentially the oldest sci-fi, right? I would say all modern sci-fi is derived from essentially the Princess of Mars novels. The Chronicles of Mars, yes. I will say they are definitely a little dated. There's a whole lot of like racism in them and like, But yeah, Edgar Rice Burroughs, I mean, he was definitely a very, very prominent and like, I think a very important author for the era. We wouldn't get what we have today in sci-fi had there not been the whole Princess of Mars, Chronicles of Mars saga. Virginia. And it was what's his bucket from what was his name? From Lasseter, Jonathan Lasseter from Pixar, right? That was working on John Carter and he'd never done live action. And the whole production schedule and everything is so different for live action. He was just out of his element. I bet you if they'd given him a bit more time or done a little bit more advertising around the project, John Carter would have been huge. So this is the stables I built for the Bastion. Sorry, we were talking about other stuff, got a little sidetracked. So we've got 10 large stables and one huge stable. We technically have 3 stables all combined into one mega stable. We have one vast one that's been upgraded from roomy to vast and 2 roomy stables. Mrs. Mack, she paid for one of our stables to be upgraded because she so desperately wanted an elephant and she negotiated with the DM. She bought an elephant, paid for the upgrade to the Bastion, and we lose out on extra stable space just because we have this one big one. Jon Favreau was in the movie? Interesting. Did not know that. Hey, see you later, DM Crusader. You have a good one. Yellow Flash, see you, buddy. So the stables are another addition here. If you go upstairs, there is a little loft up here for like food, hay. And it links to the main stable area and also the loft for the elephant. So there's a way to kind of drive around and deliver goods. And there's a crane system for lifting the goods and storing them up here. And then doors that you can open to drop them down below. Oh, man, how you want to get out? Hold on 1 second. Let's get this door open. Here you go, kitty. See you later, baby. The cat finally wanted to leave. Okay. So there's the hayloft. Let me show you another new addition I did. This is our teleportation circle. You only get 16 squares for this space, so I didn't want to go too crazy or extravagant with it. Put some arcane crystals, put a magic circle down, put a dimension door, made everything purple, added some abstracts, called it a day. I don't know if y'all saw the gaming hall that I did previously as well. So we've got a little area for drinking and music, entertainment, also a bunch of different games. Some roulette, some cards, some dice, a spin wheel. And there's a little pit boss cage here in right under the staircase. Uh-oh. What happened here? That door doesn't go there. There's supposed to be a wall there. Uh-oh. I gotta fix that. There's supposed to be a wall here and that door goes there. I might have deleted it on accident. Either way, no biggie. So that's the new section there, our little teleportation circle, which I like the idea of that location because our barracks are right here. So it's essentially right next to our armory and barracks. So if anything happens, we have, I mean, not like anyone could really get into our teleportation circle easily, but if they do, it's got defenses. Oh, another area I added. Training arena. So this here, I wanted to just add a little fun spot for a few different ways to train, or training area is what it's called. So we've got a fight pit with like a little kiva for people to sit and watch, spectate. Got some training dummies. We've got some archery targets, and then of course some destroyable targets. So you get that fun feel when you actually break something. Put some detritus down below, just filled it up with random items. And then lastly is the scalable, the like wall, the rope wall, the climbing wall. I thought that was pretty clever. Did a bunch of logs, did a balcony, and did some ropes running up using a connected pole. The ranges, I did long like runs on either side, so technically you could step way back and do a longer shot if you want, or then they've got a straight shot to those things. Magic. How does the wall stay upright? These two pillars right here on the sides, these are ground into the ground several feet, and then all of the poles in between them are connected using what I would assume are wooden dowels. And then up here, this balcony has a support system as well, because I knew someone like you would say something about it. But yeah, just piled support beams. Posts were a pain, man. I was trying to get one that looked right, and none of them did. Like, I sat here for a while trying to get one that was the right height and right thickness, and I wasn't happy with it. Also, I'm technically treating this upper area like a balcony. This is outside the training area, because the training area is technically from the edge of this fighting arena to the edge of this hay. So anything beyond it, like these hay barricades, that was just more like design, flavor is free. And then the balcony, like, is a balcony hanging off the side of your house technically square footage? Like, anyway, so yeah. So in my mind, this little balcony at the top doesn't count against the square footage of this. But like transitional spaces and bastions, hallways, walkways, stuff like that don't count against your overall space. Storage areas, stuff like that. So I figured I did a pretty good job there. Right? If you don't paint the walls in your garage, you can pay less on your taxes, right? Your property taxes. They always warn new homeowners not to finish their garage. That's why all garages are basically just like sheetrock and some mud over the nails. Man, this map is lagging. I'm wondering if I'm getting like I can't even open file. I wonder if I'm getting a memory leak or something. Let's roll down to low quality. So, where I grew up in southern Utah, there is a certain subculture nearby that some of you may be familiar with due to like pop culture and the news and stuff like that. But have any of you heard of FLDS or polygamists? Geez, tropism, that's crazy. So many of you may not know this, but I was born and raised in Utah, and I grew up in the Mormon religion. That's a topic for a different day. Don't want to talk about it. I am not a practicing Mormon, nor am I a polygamist. That said, they're two distinct things, Mormons and so there's LDS and FLDS. They diverted from each other based on principles of one group wanted to have multiple wives and the other group didn't want to do that anymore. So the FLDS group, the polygamists, they essentially live in these small, tight-knit communities together, where it's a lot of the same family or several families, large families living together, where there is a patron and he has many wives. I'm talking sometimes over 10, okay? 10 to 20 plus wives, ranging in age from like, his age down to like teens. It's pretty messed up, okay? It is quite a rabbit hole, just to say the least. Now, to that end, these people would constantly try to circumvent the laws in the area to avoid paying taxes. And this is like a very well-known and documented thing, okay? Essentially, they would build their homes, which they would run construction companies as one of their main sources of income. And they would basically build the home but not finish it. The exterior of the home would not be finished. It would just be like plywood in certain spots or whatever. And this was a legal loophole that if the home wasn't finished, you didn't have to pay property taxes. So this was like, anyway, it was a big deal. It was in the news. Like it was a whole thing. And apparently the laws for this recently got amended in the last like 5-10 years. So this loophole no longer exists. Yeah. So there's that. Anyway, there's information you didn't want to know. I don't know, W Ball, about the racism factor there. I guess it might be just perceived by a modern reader as such. But some of the way that certain like aliens and things are described, if you read it out loud, it sounds very, very awkward. And I don't know if it was like, anyway, in a modern retrospect, reading the novels can have some tendencies to seem sort of racist. But that's whatever. That's neither here nor there. I think a lot of books over time, can become incredibly dated that might have been absolutely cherished novels and literature wonders at the time. So things tend to change all the time. Oh, I bet the Conan books are way bad. Oh, man. There's plenty of books that, you know, were probably cherished in, you know, the 70s, 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and nowadays they're just like, what the heck? But that being said, I mean, I think, you know, society is supposed to, as a whole, kind of learn and grow. Should I have this be a fire spout? That'd be funny. So one thing about fire, if you turn it off, it becomes smoke. Now we have a bit of smoke coming out of the chimney. Building Facts by Mac. Anyway, I need to build like 3 more rooms in this, which will mostly be housed in this empty space. Probably going to work on that today. I don't like the way that banister looks. And this one just looks heckin' tall. Ugh. Yeah, that one's it. That's the one. That's the winner. There's the flavor. It was tricky to figure out where to put this staircase. I played around with this for a little while the other day, several hours. Had a staircase here, put a staircase in this room, tested a few different things. Ended up making the half circle like entrances for the stairs, right? And had this one roll right over the top of that one, which worked out perfectly. Anyway. What's some content from your childhood that has not aged well? W. Ball, the Martian Chronicles that I'm talking about are the Princess Chronicles. So Edgar Rice Burroughs, different author entirely, by the way. So there's this movie that was on Disney Channel when I was a kid, and it is not aged well. It's called Blank Check. Anyone familiar with that film? Faulty Towers is even a bit cringe, though still hilarious. You have to look at it. Oh. I guess humor just is kind of a time-based thing, had to be there for sure. Like my grandfather, when I was visiting him last year, he asked me to watch some VHS tapes of Saturday Night Live with him. I was like, okay, sure, should be fun. And most of the humor from that era that I was watching with him, it was just not funny to me. And it was kind of weird or cringy or gross. So yeah, Chim, I was around that age when it came out. And at the time, okay, I watched the movie as a kid. Blank Check was the coolest movie as a kid, thinking you could get $1 million and build up, buy a mansion, have all these cool video games and toys, and all your friends can come over and hang out. For a 10-year-old boy, that sounds freaking cool, okay? But a 10-year-old boy being taken out on a date by a grown woman and then kissing him at the end of the date, granted, she's an undercover agent, it's still... like, that is some weird stuff. Anyway, it's just, Big, also weird. Big is weird. It's a good movie, but also it's kind of dated. It is weird for a young boy turned man to date a woman. Big is definitely a weird one. Overboard, oh my gosh, right? And it's so funny watching it because they're married. They you know, they've been together probably longer than most Hollywood couples, right? Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell are so endearing. They're a great couple. But Overboard is just so cringy now. The thought of doing that to someone is absolutely horrifying. And the fact that this made a movie? Like, what? Anyway, a lot of movies and like TV shows have not aged well. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. And it's a responsible take for us to look back on those things that might have been popular at the time and realize that they probably aren't that great nowadays. Not familiar with Lady Hawk, Jobu, but I'm sure, you know, it's probably, again, another great example. All right, I'm going to work on this later, obviously off stream, and stream should be wrapping up now. It looks like not a lot came in the way of support requests while I was sitting here waiting, but we at least got to check out the Bastion, talk pop culture, talk what's going on with us. It was great catching up with you all today. I missed you all very much, honestly. How does Short Circuit hold up? I imagine. Yeah, that's a good question, Lalandra. So looking at all the themes, one more time, Atlam, can you share them? Honestly, I think I'm going to go with Brew. Let's go with Brew. Brew was the one that resonated the most with me. No worries, Cave Beast, no worries. Hey, Constantine, I'm glad you made it, man. Thank you for being here today. Appreciate you. Brew. Brew is good. It'll be good. So the damn challenge will be Brew, okay, everyone? So using Brew as inspiration, you have between now and the 25th, or the 24th, right? So you have end of day on the 24th, which is a very important day for this community. You know why? Not just because the deadline for the damn challenge, but that's my birthday. So you got to get your entry in no later than end of day in your time zone on the 24th. So submit it before 11:59 p.m. wherever you live. Okay? Thank you, everyone, for being here today, for participating in the damn challenge, whether it was submitting a map, hanging out during the stream, or just spreading the good vibes and love for all these cool maps. Congratulations again to Chim on her amazing build. Absolutely loved it. The above ground and underground, both stunning. Chim, I'll reach out to you this weekend, or before Monday afternoon at least. And yes, quick reminder for those who tuned in late. The next update, Fun with Objects 2, is getting a slight delay. Our lead developer, Carl, has stated that he needs to take a brief respite. He was dealing with some physical ailment and was very, very close to mental burnout. And so he is the backbone of our, entire operation. And we need him to be, in top shape at all times. So if he feels he needs some time, he needs some time. That's him recognizing he needed to take some time off is very important. And he's going to take about a month, maybe 2 months to catch up and, recuperate, get some rest, hopefully, deal with his ailment. And then when he comes back, he'll get right back into it. So, sadly, slight delay in our development. That's the nature of of us having a small team. With less than 10 people, we don't have a large development team that if someone steps away, that's very crucial. Someone else can fill in the gaps. We still have our team developing, doing art and doing stuff towards this update and future updates. It's just he's taking a quick break. Okay. If you have any well wishes or kind words to share with Carl during his downtime, please do not DM him or message him or ping him on social media. If you have any requests or anything you want to send his way, just message myself or one of the moderators. Let us know what you want to say, and we'll pass it on to him. So if you have a get well card or art or well wishes of any kind, feel free to pass them on to myself or or Atlam, and we'll compile them and get them to him. Okay. Thank you everyone for hanging out today. We'll be back Monday with Mapmaker Monday. That is at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. UTC. That stream runs for 2 hours. And during that stream, we'll be continuing work on the Ice Palace, which is coming along as well. Let's take a look at that before we wrap up the stream today. Yeah, it's great to be back. Thank you for being here, Atlam. Thank you for everyone attending this first stream back after about 2 weeks of downtime and away time. Sorry for anyone who messaged me while I was gone. I was quite literally unplugged. I just I had notifications for Discord and email, everything turned off. I have a bunch of emails and stuff I got to go back through and messages to respond to. A little bit of a backlog. So my apologies to anyone who messaged me and I didn't get back to you. That's why I was definitely completely unplugged. So anyway, thank you everyone for being here today. This map, we'll be working on it on Monday. I've got the shape of the palace. Now it's time to start filling it up. We started adding in all these little staircases to make it navigable, which is something I was working on. So I think I'm going to do a few more stairs and then we'll start adding decor. Cool? Anyway, thank you everyone for attending today. Appreciate you all so very, very much. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad and then we're going to wrap up the stream. Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Doyak Ta, and before
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have
To the fabled realm of Goyak Tar. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Warbland, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you on Monday. Mac out. Bye.